Are you tired yet? Are you tired of watching news and reading news about people who were alive yesterday but aren't today? Because we've got that again. Minneapolis, 2 children dead, more than a dozen others injured in a church. And the question on my mind right now is, when will we bury enough children to start taking this shit seriously? I mean, it's been going on a long time. I'm an OG to school shootings. Not quite the way they happen today. I went to the University of Iowa in 1991, and we had a shooting. Physics grad student shot up his thesis committee. There was no internet at the time, so by the time we knew about it, it was all over. But it's been going on. April 1999, I was working for the San Diego City School District when the Columbine shooting happened. And just imagine being amongst a bunch of school administrators, most of whom were not surprised. And I've lived long enough to watch it get worse and worse and worse. We reached a point where I didn't think it could get worse a couple of times, where I thought that this is so bad that we have to take action. Sandy Hook, where all those, I don't want to talk too much because I've cried over Sandy Hook, where all those kids lost their lives. Outside Mandalay Bay in Vegas, people just going to an outdoor concert. Some douchebag rains death from above. And every time it doesn't get better. We start talking about we start talking about thoughts and prayers. Our thoughts and prayers go out to it, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with us starting with that, but that's where the conversation ends all the time. Enough. Jen Psaki, former Biden's former press secretary, now works for MSNBC, tweeted out, prayer doesn't end school shootings. It doesn't. Action does. Enough with the thoughts and prayers. And then she went on to compare it to basically how the Trump administration stomps through every problem it has. It thinks there's a lot of crime in D.C., which, by the way, we can talk about that because I don't want to get into D.C. to statistics on that, but we can talk about that not being true. But so he sends troops and tanks in there. What would he do in the case of a shooting? All he has is thoughts and prayers, and Carolyn Levitt and J.D. Vance they're all outraged, calling it disrespectful that what kind of country do we live in where you are condemned for sending thoughts and prayers? And nobody's saying don't pray, but if that's all you have after decades of dead kids, you're not helping, you're hiding. Thoughts and prayers don't stop bullets. For God's sake, Fox would rather scream at Jen Psaki than do anything about the guns. And of course they provide cover. I remember watching Steve Ducey after the Mandalay Bay shooting, the outdoor concert, which was also very upsetting to me. And he's like, what could any kind of gun control do to stop this? I was like, well, it could have controlled the gun. It could have prevented the guy from having the gun. It could have seen red flags. We don't know in every individual case. And even these laws that I talk about, I know that they're not perfect, and nothing's perfect. We're still going to have them, but maybe not to the extent that we do. And then, then J.D. Vance goes to the other common Republican talking point, mental health, psychiatric meds, and RFK Jr., our favorite weirdo, who I didn't want to talk again, thanks to, who watched my last video on him. He's launching studies on what antidepressants do. Is there a correlation between school shootings and antidepressants? And the answer is no. The shooter had no mental illness, no SSRI connection. There's no causal link. He was there were red flags. He's been writing about being a fan of school shootings, about being a fan of mass shootings for the past 10 years. So there were red flags, just not necessarily mental health issues. And just asking this question, for those of us who depend on our medication, and I do, I'm switching off of Lexapro, going to pick up my new prescription today. I don't remember its full name, but I also take hydroxyzine for panic attacks and also helps me sleep. And I've taken Wellbutrin in the past. I depend on these things. I depend on antidepressants just to get through the day. I didn't make videos for a year. I'm just now starting to do that, largely because my depression was debilitating. So the idea of going back into that sort of catatonic existence, that I don't. Who wants that? I mean, and so what is their answer? Well, first off, more guns. Harden the schools, give teachers guns. Because the best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, right? Remember all those stories we saw about how that happens, about how that ever happens? I think I saw one in 25 years, and I'm not even sure that guy had a gun. I'm thinking about an incident where a guy was like in the bathroom while someone started to talk about shooting, and he stopped him. And I'm not even sure that that good guy had a gun. I think he just had the element of surprise. And then we have other people that are saying, well, we need to stockpile guns in case we have a tyrannical government that we need to combat. Well, people, we have one right now, and we can talk about that more too. But we have one that is sending federal troops into cities. We have a government that is abducting people from the streets and sending them to Alligator Auschwitz, which luckily we're not going to talk about that this week. That's going to be closed down. But and then celebrity activists. Kid Rock would rather blow up a 12-pack of Bud Light just because they had the gall to send a trans person. Sorry, I'm still, I like to call myself woke, but sometimes I make mistakes. Trans person, a birthday beer, and he decided that was enough offense to stand up over and shoot the hell out of a 12-pack of Bud Light, but doesn't want to speak about this. If you love guns, why don't you get involved so that you can protect their usage while also keeping people safe? That seems to be the right thing to do. Let's find a middle ground. Now, inevitably, some dipshit's going to mention Switzerland as being exactly that. Switzerland, which has a huge gun culture, it really does. But they also take it very seriously. I mean, it's a country of watchmakers. That country's all about discipline and precision and rigor. They have deep mandatory training, not just on how to use the gun, because that's only half the equation. That's not even the problematic part, whether you can aim or not. The problematic part is how you store it, how you transport it, and how you transfer it to transfer ownership. That's what it's all about, and that's what we need to take more seriously. And we don't. Half these people are storing their guns in the goddamn shoebox that they got from Foot Locker. So yeah, don't even bring up Switzerland, because we're not Switzerland. We are the if we were in class, Switzerland is the one that everyone points to and says, be like that, and then the United States is the one that should, ideally, in a kindergarten class, should get all the toys taken away because they can't handle it. So, and I didn't want to make this video. I had other videos lined up, but I'm a new YouTuber, and I'm sure that I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said a dozen times today, 1,000 times today. But I can't let these things go. This is an important issue, and I can't not comment on it, because the only way change gets done is if we all put our voices in. So it's important for me to speak about it. And if you're a YouTuber of any size, if you're brand new just like me, or if you're established, not that you're looking for my advice, but I mean, we need thousands of us right now today saying, let's end this, because that's what's going to inspire people that don't make videos to go out to a march, to go to a town hall, to vote, to choose their candidates based on these issues. And we've got great candidates already on it, but they need allies. Lucy McBath, I think she's wonderful, out of Georgia, lost her son to gun violence, and she's out there, working for gun control every day. But she's not alone, because as we know, and it's all connected, as we know, we're fighting GOP gerrymandering right now, and that's what keeps us from being an issue. Because even though 80% of the people in the United States are for common sense gun control, the NRA controls so much of the lobby, and these seats are so gerrymandered that that Republicans keep so much power in the House, and that power is basically answers to the NRA. We don't have anything like that on our side. We don't have a single metric that's defining candidates. They do. So that's my take on it. It's not unique. It's not anything you haven't heard before. But it's important to speak out. Even if you have nothing new to say, even if you're saying the same thing as everybody else, it's right. That's how you know it's right, is everybody else wants this too. And we want it to stop because we're tired of burying kids. I don't have any kids. And I mean, sometimes I'm thankful for that, because I don't have to live in fear when I send them to school. But just everybody use your voice. Speak up about it. I'm going to speak up about it as much as I need to. And I hope you do too. Like I said, go to a protest, go to a town hall, tell your story, talk to some friends, see if you can't persuade somebody. And don't be unreasonable. I try not to be unreasonable. Truth of the matter is, if it were up to me, nobody would have guns. I hate guns. But I am willing to, compromise and say, hey, as long as we're responsible with them, as long as we keep them stored right and transport them right, then it's all good. And otherwise, we're going to stay in this death cult. And that's what it is. It is a death cult that prioritize people using guns over the lives of our children. And over time, we'll get more into that. But that's all I have to say for today. As you may know if you watch my videos, I am in a tough spot right now, and I'm making videos just as a means to build a platform to build a sustainable income. So there's a link in the description to a GoFundMe campaign. If you enjoy this content, if you would like to see me grow, $5 would be wonderful. If not, that's fine. If you still enjoy this content, your subscription would mean the world to me. I mean, that's my main objective is to earn your subscription, earn your attention, become part of your life every day. I'm making this because we need more voices in the progressive media ecosystem. The conservative podcast brosphere, whatever, pod brosphere, whatever you want to call it, won Trump the election. And we don't have anything nearly as powerful. We're building it. And I hope that like I said, I hope you support me. And I hope that there are 1,000 other channels launching to use their voice because we need them. So let's join the fight. Let's keep fighting. Let's ask the questions. Ask the question, when are we done burying kids? That's my big thing. So in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that you'll comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you with the next video. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.